Thank you, Hillary, for being willing to meet with me again. So sorry about the plague.
How are you feeling?
I'm much better.
I'm so glad.
Listen, it was just like I was like, surely I'll be fine. And then I was like, oh no,
Oh no, we're not
we're
fine.
we're not fine. We're not fine at
Oh
all. Before we get started, I was just hoping that you could kind of introduce your exciting news and we can go from there.
Yes. So I was at a Polycon the weekend before last. Um and my friend Morgan was there and her agent and one of the other agents from their agency were there. So there's two. And she made the introduction and I went to lunch and like we talked for like 2 hours
Uh-huh.
and she offered me representation for my new secret project.
Your
Um,
secret
my secret project, yeah.
project.
So I am
Okay.
officially agented.
That's awesome. I can't wait. I have some inkling of the secret project and it's going to be very exciting. This secret project is different from Starstorm.
Yes, very
Yes.
different.
Okay. Since we're here to talk about that one, we'll put the secret project on hold and you know, leave people wanting more. But my first question about everything is how do you pronounce the main characters' names? Because I'm reading
Okay.
it and I'm like, oh no.
Okay, so it's Alien. And then the male main character, his name is Kel. So it's like
What?
pronounced K, like you would pronounce it Kell, Kel.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Okay. I wrote those down because so sometimes I do this thing where like if I am driving or if I'm doing dishes or something like that, I have Alexa read me the book like through the accessibility functions.
mhm.
And that lady did not know how to say any names
Yeah.
and it really just confused me even more. And I was like, I'm gonna look like an idiot on this
Yeah,
live if
no, yeah,
I
so it's Kalian and Kel, like very, very Nordic.
you said very Nordic. And I mean, I definitely got those vibes. Could you tell me a little bit about like the world that we found ourselves in? Because
Yes.
like as someone who jumped in to the series, just now, I hadn't read any of the other books. Um, it seems like there's this massive world. Is it like a world the size of our world? Are
Yeah,
we
so it's so technically all of my books are interconnected. So it's like
Oh,
one
okay.
universe, like multiple worlds. And
Yes.
but you can actually get to a lot of these places by like boat or by dragon. Like so it's
Okay.
not necessarily not all of them are through like portals or anything like that.
Sure.
So Aramir is its own continent. Um I don't really talk much about it, but it happened in like book one, but there's like a human lands below it, and like a
Okay.
veil and stuff. But it's not really important. It's just there.
Sure.
Um, and then there's a bigger continent, and that's where Brackroth is. And Brackroth is very um Nordic. And there's like a couple other countries that are north of it that you would like learn about in book two. But again, it's very much just like in passing. They're there.
Yeah.
I haven't like flushed them out or anything like that.
Sure.
And then south of Brackroth is Windfire. And that's a new world. It's the first time I've written about it fully.
Uh-huh.
But there's like, you get like a whisper of it at the very end of book four of like a different series. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Very interesting. Okay. So like, and um, I want to call it Mirkwood. It's not Mirkwood. It's
Mirkwild.
Mirkwild. Yes.
Mhm.
Um, I loved that land. I would like to go live there. I
Thank
feel
you.
like everybody's telling the truth all the time.
Right. That was like the most random thing. I was like, you know what? No, everyone has to speak the truth here. That's just what's gonna what happen is gonna be like what how it is. And I loved it. And I tried to make it very it's like I play Dungeons and Dragons.
Same.
Um, and I'm a
Wait.
druid right now, so I tried to make it
Okay.
very, very druidic in terms of like lore and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, that whole place is like my favorite. And like the river, yeah, I love it.
Oh, it was very like I do the maladaptive daydreaming thing where
Mhm.
like I'll just like if I'm having a rough time, I'll just like pretend I'm somewhere else. I found myself pretending that I was like hanging out by the tree,
By the tree.
by the river, just like
Yeah.
in like a safe little place. Um, yeah, no, it was great. It's funny you say that you're a druid. I am a tiefling sorceress
Oh, I love that. I'm an
because
elf druid.
I'm bi and every bi woman has to be a tiefling,
Tiefling.
apparently.
Yeah. It seems to be the way of things. But there's my first the first like major campaign I played, I was and like mistakes were made because if I had known that like my my like AC was gonna be that low, I probably would never have gone with it. But I was a fairy warlock. It was so tiny.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. You're like, I'm a badass, but
Yeah.
I'm squishy.
Eldritch Blast is like all I did.
I love it. I love it so much. Um, that's interesting. So, do you find that brings me to my question about like, the pantsing versus plotting situation, but
Yes.
what inspires your writing? Are you inspired by things like a roll of the dice, or are you like very like gotta have everything
Um,
planned out super far in advance?
so people are always like mind blown when I say this. I write most of my books by hand. Um,
Wow.
and not like not fully detailed, but
Yeah.
decent. You know, like a scene is probably like a couple pages, and I don't really use shorthand. I might like abbreviate like the character's initials.
Hmm.
But what I'll do is I'll kind of like rough outline maybe like 4 or 5 chapters to start. And
Hmm.
then and then see how it goes. And like I have a general idea of like the whole story, like vaguely, like I write down like there are certain scenes like I want to have happen. And then it's like, okay, well, how do I get them to these scenes?
Yeah.
And then so when I'm outlining, you know, these 4 or 5 chapters at a time, if things pivot and they shift, then it's easier to I can be like more fluid with it and like kind of like go with the dice, so to speak, or roll with it as opposed
Yeah.
to like, you know, being set in stone, like this has to happen, this has to happen. So
Yeah. Yeah. So kind of the fact that you have an outline means that you're less of a pantser than some people I know.
yeah. Yeah, I have
So,
a very I feel like I need to know what happens. To an
yeah.
extent, I need to know what happens.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, that makes sense with so many with such a big world and with so many interconnected couples. Um, it was so interesting reading it, like dropping in because I can tell that there is so much deep backstory. I didn't feel like I needed the backstory for the for this plot,
right.
but it did make me feel like, oh God, like I have to go back and I have to read these other ones because I'm so curious. And the character that I was most curious about was now I think I'm saying it right, Kreslin.
Kreslin, yeah,
Yes.
Kreslin.
Um,
She is everyone's favorite, and she's the main female character of book two.
book
Um,
two.
book
Okay.
two, yeah. So
Who's the main? Yeah, walk us through the couples.
okay, so book one is All the Chaos of Constellations, and that is Novalis and Asher.
Okay.
And then book two is All the Sacrifice of Shadows, and that's Drake. Um, that I have a story about that. That's Drake and Kreslin. And then book three is All the Pain of Promises, and that's Solarius and Nerissa. Um, and then you know four is Kaylin and Cal.
Very interesting. And what's the for the lack of a better word, the like head of the family, like the guy
Oh, the
who's
oldest
like,
brother.
yeah,
Yeah. That's Arisian. We call him Aries because it's just easier. But yeah,
and he doesn't have a book.
his will be last
Okay.
for reasons. For reasons.
I was like, I need to know his story.
Yeah, he's a fan favorite. Most people really they love Kreslin. Drake, so he shows up in book one, and I got like a lot of flack about it because everyone thought that like he should have been like Novalise's like love interest.
You're like, he's
Well,
just hot. That doesn't mean he's hot for
in my
her.
mind, Novalise like couldn't handle him. Like they were not like they did not mesh.
Yeah.
Not only that, but he also didn't have a POV, so I don't know why anyone would think that he is who she was going to end up with, but it's fine, whatever. He's a villain. He does like so in his book in book two, there's no redemption arc there. He's
Very
just he
interesting.
might, I mean, it might be like a little bit toxic. I don't know. People are into that, but I almost killed him off because I was so upset with like the not hate, but it was kind of like hate I was getting about like not having him be with Novelise.
Uh-huh.
But then when I paired him with Kreslin, it was like, oh, and I'm kind of like just like trust the process.
Someone
So
said in the Discord specifically, they said Kalian is a contemporary romance girly and Kreslin is a dark romance girly.
yes, 100%. Yeah,
This
that is accurate.
this
Yes.
makes all the sense in the world to me. I was very, very curious about like these family dynamics and also the way that each character has um I want to say they have like this archetype, but it seems like that's the superficial level and then like what you spend the majority of the book doing is actually just like
Breaking them down.
breaking them
Yeah.
down. So if you had to like give these characters a high school superlative, what would you give them? Like
Like
who
all of them are just like
here, I'll give you some superlatives and you can tell me like,
okay.
okay, so like most likely to like end up in prison.
Um, Probably Kreslin.
Really? What's she there for? That's just a what do we
Just
think?
she's like she's very much like so her magic is actually sunshine and rainbows,
Uh-huh.
but she has like and I won't say it because it's kind of like a spoiler for like but people like love it. But she just she suits Drake very well.
Okay.
So
Okay. Okay. So we've
like
got
she like gives as good as she gets or whatever. However that saying is like yeah.
she'll match the vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so who is most likely to become president?
Uh Arisian for sure.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that I like him. Um, um, and then what do we say? Like, who has best smile?
Best smile would so probably Nixian. But he's very charismatic. But again, he's one of the brothers. Like his book is next.
I
So
gotcha. Oh,
yeah,
okay. And you, I was gonna ask like about the love interest. Like, have we met them? Do we know them? But I probably
you've
should
met
have.
them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He went on a boat, didn't he?
He did go on a boat. He
To
bailed.
avoid to
Deuces.
avoid
To avoid
a
getting married.
wedding.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about redemption arcs and men who fuck up.
Okay.
So, so I mean, granted, I have no idea where that story is going, but with Kel, you really had to do some work to get him to a place where like we as readers were interested. Same thing with, like Kalian. And I'm wondering like what makes a redemption arc work and like is there too bad? Is there something that is irredeemable?
Um, yes. So I feel like it's hard with like I know it's very much like everyone's like, oh, well, you know, he needs to grovel more. I feel like there's only so much groveling you can do before, you know, whoever is on the receiving end is either like, I don't care, or okay, I'll give you one more chance.
Yeah.
And like I'm sure there's probably like, you know, like different levels of groveling. But for redemption, I think it comes down to like what the characters see in each other.
Yeah.
And I do think that there are some like, you know, I know like in romance specifically, right? You know, cheating is usually unforgivable. That is like the norm. But I feel like there could be you know, there could be other things as well. Like, you know, I feel like when again, I guess it depends on like the type of romance book you're reading.
Yeah.
But for like the characters I write, like I would think that if like if for example, if one of the male characters was like, trying to do stuff to intentionally, like I am not a fan when of when male characters like intentionally humiliate the female over and over again.
Yeah.
Um, Out of, like if they're like needling at each other or, like banter, like that's fine, and like maybe,
Yeah.
sometimes like once and then like an apology later. But like when it repeatedly happens,
Yeah.
I don't know how I would write a male character back from that because it's
Yeah.
almost like one of those things. It's like, are they ever really going to change? Like,
Right.
are they going to be like that for forever?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, for sure. I like it was very interesting because I didn't know human Kel. And like I didn't know their relationship beforehand. So when I meet him and he's like getting used to his Fey body and like he's got this chip on his shoulder, of course, I, being Rachel Sky of, the fantasy romance books, says, "What are you complaining about, you idiot? You get to be a Fae."
yeah,
Um, but like as he is explaining himself, it's when you realize that he's had this like identity shift where he no longer trusts himself and like
right.
he doesn't know what's real. Um, which is so interesting with like the way that you've approached magic in this book because so often magic is the solution to our problems, but we have one
Not the bane of our
character
existence. Yeah.
exactly, but we have
Yeah.
one character where magic ruined their life, and then we have another character who lost their magic. And I was just curious if you could talk a little bit about like how you as a writer um approach magic and like fantasy elements while writing these intercommunication like plot lines.
Sure. So the magic in the Starstorm series is very different from the magic that I've written in other books.
Okay.
It's they like not everyone can do everything.
Right.
Not everyone has access. And like even in Aramir, you don't see it a lot because I don't like write about them, but only the like what's what I'm looking for, like hierarchy, I guess, or like nobility
Yes.
has like full magical type powers. Like lesser class citizens, um,
Sure.
whatever, they have like shops and stuff like that, and they can like, imbue certain things, but it's not like, a controlled magic. And so I wanted Starstorm to be different in the sense that, especially when it comes to like, like mates and stuff like that. And because I was going off the Bridgerton vibes where, I'm like, everyone has to get married.
Yep.
Um, I didn't want like with I wanted them I wrote it so that the magic chooses. Like the magic claims each other instead. So like with Kayleen and Kel, her magic's gone. He doesn't have magic because he was basically made.
Yeah.
So I had a couple readers and like, well, are they fated mates? And I was like, no, they're not. They chose each other. So they
Yeah.
like kind of like detoured from like the other, like I won't say what exactly happens in Creslin and Drake's book, but there's a little bit different too. But books one and book three, it's very much like the magic chose each other. Um, and so I try to make it like in terms of like, types of magic, I made it very like on the nose for a reason, like so like House Celestine is all very like celestial, and then
Yeah.
like House Azervend is all very, like ocean, water, and so on and so forth. But they're not like all powerful.
Right.
Like each Fae controls like one particular type of that brand of magic, so to speak.
Yeah.
So,
That's interesting. Out of curiosity, like, is there Is there some sort of like connection between having not, read books one through three? I feel like I'm out of my element. But like when I hear ocean, I also think of like moon and tides, and I think of celestial things too. So I'm like, is there like a through
Right.
line there?
So all the Pain of Promises, she's from House Azervend and she controls the tides. And who, like the male main character is from House Celestine and he controls moonlight. So like nail on the head.
Oh my
Like,
gosh. Okay, so we need to, I mean, we don't need to, but I mean, the ideal reading order is like one, two, three, four. Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool.
I've had
Noted.
ARC readers pop in like randomly with each book. And I made sure to I asked a lot of people before agreeing
Yeah.
to give it to you. I was like, can they read it on their own? Can they? And they're
You
like, yeah,
definitely can. You
So,
definitely can.
but yeah, like ideally, you would want to read one, two, three, four, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I would assume that the Bridgerton books are similar. Like,
right,
there are Easter eggs, there are things that I didn't fully understand, but like, um, I didn't ever feel like I was missing important information to this plot, but I
right.
felt like there's a whole world here that like I can explore, um, which was very, very cool. So I'm glad that you let us all read it.
Oh,
A
thank you.
lot of people in the Discord as well were like, okay, great. Now I'm gonna go back and start with book one right now. So that was awesome. Oh, hold on. So someone just responded. They said, this book definitely got me hooked to now read the other books. Yeah, that makes
I'm
sense.
so glad. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Um,
They're fun. They're light, they're bingeable, they're low stakes, like, you know,
that's one of the
they're
things that I thought was
easy to read.
interesting about it when you mentioned, it's kind of like a dark romance, like he's a villain, because I'm like, how are you doing this in this world that feels like a hug? Um, but like
Yeah.
I
So
gotta I gotta read it to
so book two takes place in Brackroth, which is more like dreary and overcast and you
yeah,
know, yeah. But it's
yeah,
it's a little, yeah.
makes sense. I gotta, I, I have so many questions about like the neurodivergent representation in the book as someone who like is on the spectrum and has some of these sensory things. I thought it was so interesting the way that Close specifically like told her story a little bit.
Yeah.
Could you talk a little bit about writing like a neurodivergent character and what that's like and
Yeah, so I wouldn't say that. I mean, I don't know. I know certain textures and things like that irritate me. I know it's worse for my daughter. So I kind of pulled like that. Like I remember like when she was younger, like fabrics especially, like if we when we had to switch from like leggings and jeans to shorts, it was like the end of the world. Like
that we're
because
in that right now with mine.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I tried to pull a lot from that. And then I was like from her experiences, like what would irritate? And so I'm like thinking like irritating, suffocating type fabrics,
Yeah.
which is why, she gradually
Yeah.
peels them off, so to speak,
Yeah.
and feels more like comfortable in her own skin.
Hmm.
But then also in terms of like the chaos of her mind without the wishes, like how she's so used to like the
Yeah.
loud and the noise and the quiet, just like, it was basically like, driving her like bananas.
Yeah.
So, I wasn't sure how I was going to play that when I first started writing her. Because in my head, like the normal way of things of thinking is like, nobody would want that. Like no one would want like the constant like, and then I'm like, well, maybe
Mm.
maybe she would because she would have had
Yeah.
it for so long.
Yeah.
And maybe it would be like a massive adjustment without that. Like, almost like part of her is missing. So
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, that was really cool to read about. Um, I am curious about this other kingdom that we visited with witches and vampires. Are they in other books within the series, or is that a different connected
um
world series that
Yes.
you're working in.
So where the witches and vampires were, that's Brackroth.
Right.
That is how do I say it without giving too much away? So the vampire you meet, you actually hear about him in my other book, Lore of the Wicked Wood. And so he's tied into
Okay.
that.
Okay.
And then the
I had a
Witch Queen,
suspicion. I was like, I feel
yeah.
like there's something
There's a
there's
correlation there. Yeah. Like
yeah.
one of the readers in my Discord, she's like, have we? I swear I've heard his name before. And I was like, you have, you know. So so he's tied in there. And then the Witch Queen, um,
She's a badass. I want to be her
she is
friend.
you meet her very, very, very briefly in like book two, like fleeting.
Hmm.
But she'll play a larger role later down the road.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I love her. Certain characters would be introduced, and it would feel like if I was watching a TV show, it was like a famous actor was in the role. And I'm like, why are you just in the corner over there? I know that you're important because they paid a lot of money for you.
Yeah.
You've got main character energy.
Energy. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I just think it's so interesting. I didn't really get the feeling that there were a ton of side characters. I got the feeling that everybody is a main
The main
character with a
character.
lot of depth, and you're
Yeah.
just waiting to see if it's their story that's next.
Yes, that's exactly basically how my brain works.
I
So,
love it. I love it. It was very good.
like
Um,
almost every character introduced in any of my books is with purpose.
yeah,
So,
I mean, yeah, I'm gathering. If you could invite any of your characters over to like hang out right now, who would you invite and what would you do?
I would probably invite like the whole Starstorm crew.
Oh, okay.
Like just the siblings. The significant others are fine, but just the siblings. Um, and honestly, probably just like drink wine and like, shoot the shit basically. Just
Yeah.
just to, just because I love writing their interactions and I
Yeah.
like how they like play off each other and like, they have like the sibling banter, but then they also really love each other.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fun. Really, really love writing their scenes when they're all and like it can be a little bit chaotic at times because I don't want to be like this person's sitting here, so and so is standing here, like so it's
Yeah.
hard to but, but like I have to give like the layout of the room,
Yeah.
but I can't just like generalize it either. So sometimes it's a little bit tricky to like include them all
Yeah.
um without it being very like, this. But yeah,
Hmm.
they're when I finally get it to work, it makes me very happy.
When you write or read, do you see a movie in your head?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I'm gathering.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't, which is so weird.
Really?
I'm one of the few people, what do they call it? Aphantasia.
Hmm.
Um, when I'm reading, I sort of get like vibes, impressions, feelings. I don't like see things necessarily. But when I'm describing like, my weird daydreaming thing where I'm going places, it's more of just like imagining the feeling of a place,
Right. So you don't actually see it.
which is why I think that the river especially was so like, because it was so like magical and vibey, and then it was like,
Wonderful. Yeah.
nice place.
Yeah. I could stay
Um,
here.
yeah, yeah. Um, oh, cool. I am just gonna double check and make sure that we don't have any other questions. I have someone typing. I do. I absolutely love that I see what I read in a total movie
Yeah.
to even hear their voice. Oh, that's really cool. Oh, speaking of hearing voices, are you doing audiobooks?
Yes. Books one through three are already out on audio.
Uh-huh.
And book four, I believe, comes out in September, I think.
Oh my gosh. That's really good to know. Because
Yeah.
I like Siri did her best, or Alexa, or whoever the automated voice was that was reading did their best. But sometimes I just like I want to hear how the names are pronounced.
Yeah. So the the narrator, I have, it's not, what's it called? It's not, it's, so there's, I have a female and a male narrator, but it's
It's
not the
dual but not duet.
right. That's what it
Yeah.
is. Yes. Thank you. I was like, there's another D word. I can't think what it is.
Yeah.
But the female narrator, Zura Johnson, she's actually one of my friends. And so she'll like message me and she'll be like, okay, I need a list of like so I'll voice memo her and be like, this is how we say them like that. And so then she knows. And she's fantastic. I actually I thought she was British when I first met her. She's not, she's American. But like that's how good she is.
Amazing. I
Yeah.
love that. Well, thank you so much
Of
for
course.
taking the time to talk to me, especially like rescheduling and
Not, I get it. It's not a problem at all.
I think everybody had a really, really good time with the book. Thank you, everyone, for reading, reviewing, posting, and for being here.